ladies and gentlemen. It's yet another episode of The Lair of the Phoenix. I am, as always, James Phoenix. And today we're going to wrap up that little series we started back during the summer of Disney when we went through and reviewed the first 3 seasons of Once Upon a Time, the hit ABC series based on fairy tales in the real world. We ran out of time to watch season 4 because unfortunately I hadn't seen it and I had to wait for it to come out on Netflix and then I had to watch it. So, yeah. That was
also with the theme.
Also with the what?
Also with the theme being. Also with the film, with the theme being villains, you figured you could do it in October for Halloween. I think that's kind of important.
That's well, the theme of the second half being villains, yes, but fair enough. I approve. So, joining me, as you heard from those people cheering from not my area. Over there, from the Pew Pew Productions, Anastasia and Lazerbeam.
Hey.
And over there, from the Mole Hole, it's Chriz the Mole.
Respect.
Now, I will let everybody know, we're going to be discussing Season 4 here. If you haven't watched Season 4 yet, it's on American Netflix now. It's I believe it's on UK Netflix also, so you can check it out there. The DVDs are available, so give that a shot. Just to massage everybody, because I know that these two, or at least I know Mole has not yet seen it, we are going to make sure that even if we're discussing Season 4 to reference other things, we will not reference anything that has happened so far in Season 5. So don't worry. We're not going to spoil anything if you haven't seen the first couple episodes yet.
Good, because I haven't.
Yeah, because we're reviewing Season 4. Why the fuck would we go into the next season?
One of the things, sometimes when you discussions like, oh yeah, well that makes sense in retrospect, looking at when they did this, it made more sense they did this in the past type deal. So that's why I want to make sure, I'm assure everybody we're not going to do that. Or I'm not going to do that, since apparently I'm the only one that's seen it. And I've only seen the first one I didn't even see this past Sundays. I have to go back and watch that. But anyway. So, Season 4. We're going to talk about this, of course, Season 4 airing from last year, September of 14 up through the spring of 15, right around the end of May. And the opening, of course, as per the previous seasons, this season sort of has 2 plots, kind of divides in the middle and moves on to a second series of plot elements as we go on, so we'll cover each half. Luckily, unlike the season before this, the first half is not quite a shit.
Also, they were better joined.
That too. Although, it does feel like Frozen was really rammed in here. I gotta be honest. They didn't do it badly, it just felt like, here's all this Frozen stuff.
Since Frozen was the best part of this, I personally feel like, fuck yeah. Like, I, when I saw Frozen, it was like, whatever, this kind is, like, shitty. And then I saw this, I'm like, holy shit, I wish the Frozen actual show was as good as this.
Mm-hmm. Let it go, let it go. Anyway.
Oh, fuck off. No, not that stupid song. But I love the actual, characters and expanding the whole family and everything.
It also made sense to have it be Frozen as much as I didn't want it to be. It made sense. I liked what they did. Like you said, I really didn't like that film. Mm. However, it made sense because what are the names of the dwarfs?
Doc, Happy, Sleepy.
Exactly. It's the Disney names, which, based on this is the Disney version of the Snow Queen. It makes sense they would go with that adaptation. While the other ones, you could argue, like, for example, Rapunzel was done differently to Tangled, but at the end of the day, they were still both Rapunzel. Mm-hmm. They still had the same names and similar qualities, whereas with the difference between Frozen and the Snow Queen is pretty drastic to a certain degree. So I could understand them doing that, and it made sense, and it made for some good storytelling.
Yes, I agree. The storytelling was excellent, and the acting was very good for the Frozen thing. It just felt like all of a sudden they had to, we want to do Frozen, so we're going to have to make sure we go in here and add in that, Frozen is part of this world, Arendelle's this other land over here, and they know the Enchanted Forest, but it's under a different name. They call it Mistborn. Just, kind of showing here that, yes, this has been here the whole time. We just haven't mentioned it.
Also,
yeah, you mean like they did with Robin Hood and Mulan and all the other stuff?
And Zelina and Oz and whatever.
Touché. But yes, so as of the end of in the season 3 finale, after our good friends Hook and Emma got back from the past, we see that they inadvertently brought an urn from Rumpelstiltskin's room of dangerous shit that even he doesn't want to touch with them, and it smashes open to reveal a blue liquid that turns into Elsa, the Queen of Arendelle, who has been imprisoned in the urn for an amount of time we do not know until later. But as Elsa walks through the town trying to figure out what's going on, as per usual, shit starts freezing. Because Elsa, despite having, the events of the movie Frozen have been established to have already happened in the past. And so, despite that, Elsa still sometimes, if she's not careful with her emotions, can have trouble controlling her powers, which does make sense that it wouldn't suddenly go away forever. If she, succumb to that fear and everything again, her powers will go out of control again. That actually makes sense, and I like that they worked that in that way.
Yeah.
The past events of the movie haven't even been like a whole year since the movie, so it's only been months.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long after the events of the movie, but they did happen.
Yeah.
And Elsa walks to town.
Glad it did not Olaf.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, fuck him.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he's not in
No,
here.
they didn't use Olaf, but they used the big abominable snow dude.
Yeah, that's okay, because that's basically...
Because he's
claws and
awesome.
stuff. But with the Olaf thing, they didn't use Olaf, but they did reference him once, and I'm okay with referencing him because they kind of had to, but...
Yeah.
I'm glad he wasn't there, because that would be weird. Even more so, he'd probably be a human. And, since he likes the sun, he's going to look like, I don't know, someone off the Jersey Shore with all his fake tan.
And also, another thing is they referenced when they were fighting Hans, he said, I sung a song with you!
Yep.
That was awesome. That was funny. That was funny.
They're like, what?
Yeah, so as Elsa arrives and has begun losing control of her powers again because she doesn't really know where she is, how long she's been in that urn, or really what's going on. She seems to have a bit of a memory block because amnesia is apparently par for the course in everything that happens ever in this show. And so,
yeah, it's because it's meant to be like a mystery.
Yeah. So she begins running around the town attempting to locate her sister, Anna, of course, being her default go-to action. But doesn't really know where she is, so she kind of hides around. She's trying to see what's going on, trying to learn about things. But her powers end up going out of control, and she inadvertently erects a giant ice wall around the town, because we also need to have a reason people can't leave.
I think the ice wall was actually on purpose because she didn't want anybody to leave until they find Anna.
That's true. She did it on purpose first, and then she couldn't get rid of it, right?
Well, see, then I think the villain of this, who shall be revealed later in this review, made the ice wall stay up.
Fair enough. So Elsa, I know they're running around. Inevitably, they see this like ice trail down there. And they realize that somebody's here doing something. So Emma goes to investigate with, I believe it's her dad goes with her, Charming, and they go to investigate and figure out because they're the twin sheriffs now, I guess. I don't know how law enforcement works in this town anymore. But
spoiler alert, it gets revealed to be Winter from Fable Legends.
Ha! It's Glacier, returned from WCW.
I'm not sure if you've seen her.
No.
Fable, and I can't talk too much about it because NDA and all that, but basically in the beta and stuff like that for Fable Legends, there's a girl called Winter, and one of the things she does, which they have revealed on the stuff, so that's okay to talk about, is she's basically a barefoot girl that walks, and every time she walks, it leaves the ice footprints the same way as Elsa.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
With customization in this game, I'm pretty sure I know what colour hair she's going to get as a customization option.
Oh, I'm sure.
It wouldn't surprise me if it's like, oh yeah, no, that's happened.
Now the other question is, can we gender swap her and make her Sub-Zero? But anyway, so as Elsa basically is found by Emma and Charming, but she freaks out even more and decides that no, I'm gonna take control here. I want to know where my sister is, and you're all gonna tell me, or nobody's leaving. And she erects a giant ice wall around the town to keep everybody in, and demands to know where her sister is. They tell her, we don't know, but we were willing to help you find her. Just calm the hell down, crazy ice lady.
Yep.
And inevitably, she inadvertently loses control of the powers and traps herself and Emma in an ice cave, where we see some nice parallels between Elsa's uncontrollable ice powers and Emma's uncontrollable light powers, and how they kind of have some similarities between the two. And Emma manages to talk Elsa down into being able to better control her powers when they find out that the others can't find Anna, and Emma's freezing to death in the cave. And they manage to help Elsa get her powers under control. She lets Emma go. They agree to work together to find Anna, and to figure out where Elsa came from and why she doesn't remember anything.
Super crazy nitpick. It's just driving me crazy because everybody says Anna, like, you know, but whatever. It's totally fine. You're doing it. Just the way they pronounce it in the show. But go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. They pronounce it Anna. I'm going with it.
Just yeah. Just little things like that drive me nuts, but it's okay.
Fair enough.
Well, you could make the case it's pronounced 2 different ways.
I don't think anyone in the at least in the movie or in this referred to her as Anna.
Yeah, it was always Anna. I think that's just an Arendellian accent.
I believe Hook did.
Did he?
I believe Hook went Anna.
He might have.
Okay.
I get
Anna due to his accent he was doing.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Everybody else of various accents called her Anna. Go ahead.
Yeah,
You're
that's
Hook. You're Captain Hook.
I have no problem with that, love. Anyway.
Oh god, that'd be so gross. I'm sorry. Just imagine trying to be not like you. Ugh.
Anyway, so as events proceed, we find out that there is a resident in town we hadn't seen before, a blonde-haired woman played by Elizabeth Mitchell who runs an ice cream parlor in the town that we have also not seen before. And it's generally established pretty quickly that she has some similar powers to Elsa, although we don't know exactly who she is yet. And as events proceed and they try to figure out where Anna might be and everything, they start trying to.
I have to say, to be fair,
Yep.
were you giving a nitpick of what we haven't seen before? Because isn't that every character of the week? And to be fair to an ice cream shop, why would we have seen it before? What, season 1 when she doesn't know what the hell's going on and she's battling Regina and all that stuff? She's gonna go out and get ice cream? Or season 2 when Magic returned? Oh, let's get ice cream. Or season 3, hey, do you remember when your granddad tried to kill you? Ice cream!
In all fairness, with a flashback, she went right into the ice cream parlor in season 1. She just got her memory wiped and didn't remember it.
Yes, and it wasn't during an episode. It was actually sort of off screen. For us, it wasn't an important factor for her to go into that ice cream shop for storytelling purposes.
Fair enough. That's not for me. I'll wait for it to stop ringing. Okay, we're good now. Anyway, so as I was saying, we quickly and we start seeing backstory as to what was going on in Arendelle before Elsa lost her memory, and we see that events basically picked up after the movie. Elsa is the queen and is generally in control of her powers, and Anna is with Kristoff, and they are planning a wedding together for some point in the future here. They have the date has apparently been changed a couple of times, much to the chagrin of the rock trolls. And you see, and I want to give props to Disney for going out and finding an actual reindeer. That was cool.
I want to give them props for going out and finding actual actors who looked exactly like the rock trolls. What were the odds?
The rock trolls were really good CG.
That was good CG. It was.
That was really good, and they used them multiple times. And
Are they
awesome.
actually CGI?
Aren't they?
Yeah,
I thought they may have just got members of your family pukes. They look just like
fuck
you.
off.
Oh!
And if you're going by my Italian family, that'd be closer, and I have to agree with you, but my mom's family, no way.
I was going by your family in general because you look like a rock troll. The only difference is you need to just be painted slightly.
Oh, I do have, like, at least on my father's side, a long history of short, fat people, so.
Indeed. So, as events in Storybook proceed, we do have a side plot where we...
How are you related to Marcus?
Oh!
I said long line of short, fat people, not short, fat people who bring about the deaths of celebrities.
Yeah.
Touché.
But no, back to Jim.
Indeed. So, a side plot we establish here, which is kind of interesting, and it doesn't last very long, but I think it's cool while it does, is that we establish that Regina has abdicated the mayorship, because when Storybook was recreated, it wasn't her curse, it was Snow White's. And so Regina had basically decided that, I don't really give a crap about this anymore. I didn't do this time, and everybody immediately blamed me anyway, so, I'm out. So, Snow White ends up being the de facto mayor of the town. To
be fair, that's not immediately dropped.
Well, it goes for a few episodes, but
No, that is one of the things. It's the seeds for what leads into the part of the next season with what her mission is, or the next half of the season, I should say, of what her mission is. Because no matter what she does, she's always seen as a villain.
true. Valid point. So Regina abdicates the mayorship, but I meant the part about Snow White being in charge.
Oh, fuck her in a weird hair.
Yeah, I meant the fact that that happens, but then within about 4 or 5 episodes, they're like, yeah, Regina's in charge again. We're like, okay, we're all cool with that now.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Snow White being is now the de facto person in charge because Regina has some things she's trying to deal with. And so the townspeople come and start pitching to Snow White about things not working. And between that and a baby, she gets a little bit overwhelmed, particularly when, as a result of ice things going on, there's a large power outage in the town. And apparently, as the mayor, she's suddenly supposed to understand how to fix a complex hydroelectric system.
Why not?
Yeah, why not, I guess.
Or she's expected to at least hire someone who could.
Yeah. Which does lead to an interesting point. When the hydroelectric power goes out, and they're all there bitching Snow White to fix it, and someone makes a suggestion, well, why don't we go find Geppetto? He's the handyman around here. And somebody's like, he's a wood carver. I don't think he's going to know how to fix a hydroelectric system, except, he's also Marco. He has all the knowledge of being a handyman in Storybrooke where that kind of shit would have needed to be fixed. He probably does know how to fix that shit. Or have a general idea anyway.
Yeah, but he's a handyman that specialised more in, like, cuckoo clocks and stuff like that, as we kept seeing him work on. He didn't exactly go out and fix a generator.
He's not an electrician, is basically what we're saying.
Fair enough.
You have odd jobs done around, but things that require wire and electricity, that's a whole nother, thing.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. So, she does manage to get the power going again and realizes that, hey, she overcomes the stresses of dealing with the baby and this and the icing and everything else. She's like, maybe I can.
You turned the queen, it's all of you!
Yeah, exactly. That was hilarious. That was great. After bitching everybody out and saying, leave me the fuck alone, she figures out how to turn the power back on and gets the power running again. And we see that plot line develop further later when she tries to have a mayoral meeting and basically tells everybody, okay, so here's what's going on. We get the power back up. There's a few things on the list here, and they're looking at the agenda. Like, what? And Grubby's like, wait, what's this number 5 down here about an ice wall around the town? 4. Oh, ice wall around the town. Well, we're gonna get there. I say we skip items 2 and 3. What's this about a freaking ice wall?
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. So, basically, everybody started, again, Snow White dealing with the pressures of being in charge, which, by counterpoint, would seem that shouldn't be that difficult, because wasn't she the fucking queen? I mean, yeah, and Charming is with her. It's not like she doesn't have the backup. Weren't they ruling a kingdom? This is the town.
No, they weren't ruling a kingdom. If you remember, on their wedding day, Regina burst through, threatened them, and they had to get ready for war and stuff like that, as she was then getting ready to cast the curse.
They haven't been doing much peacetime stuff.
Yeah, they didn't have time to sit down and actually rule and plan stuff properly.
That is true. Fair enough. So, in the meantime, we see that the woman from the ice cream shop with the similar ice powers to Elsa, first of all, she cast a magic spell to ensure that the ice wall stays up, even when Elsa, now back in control of her powers, tries to remove it. And at the same time, she also, via a frozen treat that she gives to Maid Marian, who visits with Robin and their little son Rohan, Marian falls under an ice curse that begins to freeze her body and inevitably her heart, to kind of distract everybody. Meanwhile, in the past, we also discover, and the journey to find Anna is still on, and we find out that Charming, back when he was just a shepherd boy, actually met Anna when she went to from Arendelle to the Enchanted Forest in an attempt to find information about how she could basically help Arendelle and whatnot, and her sister, obviously. So and we also see the introduction of a character that I'm afraid to a character that had been missed. So it was very clever the way they worked this in, of Bo Peep, who it turns out was actually a powerful witch, I guess, or mistress, whatever you want to call her. Warlock, I don't know, but she's very, very powerful. I think it's called her a warlord, but whatever. Her crook is magic, and she can basically use it to tag people and then control any of those people that she tagged, which is kind of cool. I like that. And they managed to locate her as a really psychotic-looking butcher, which I thought was awesome, in Storybrooke for one scene, so they can use her crook in an attempt to locate Anna, who was tagged at the time that she showed up back in the Enchanted Forest. Which they don't really find her, but they do have enough magic in the crook to hear a heartbeat to know that she's at least alive wherever the hell she is, which is a little comfort.
Yep.
Indeed.
Also, fun little fact, since you're flicking through and looking stuff up, I will say, fun little fact is the Ice Queen herself, one who plays the Ice Queen, the evil villain.
Elizabeth Mitchell.
Yeah, she actually, I meant the character, but yeah,
oh.
The actress actually contributed something kind of big-ish to a certain degree to her that became one of her defining traits.
Really?
Yep, because they wanted her to move gracefully and sexually, and she couldn't do it in high heels. So she asked, look, can I just take my shoes off? And they said, fine. And that's why she's barefoot through like nearly all of the season. I think there's like one scene maybe where she has shoes on. But most of the time she's barefoot, and that's the reason why, is because that's how the actress was most comfortable doing that style of more, I don't know what you call it, imposing and sexy walking.
Yeah, that style of body language, yeah.
Yep. I thought it was a fun little fact.
That is a fun little fact. I like that. I didn't know that. Very nice. So, as time goes on and we see things happening in the past, we
get a phone call. We get a phone call from the past.
Sorry about that. So, as I was saying, as time goes on, we find out that the Snow Queen actually has they find this woman who they bring her to as the Snow Queen, and they don't really know anything about her, just that she seems to know Elsa, and she also seems to know Emma, interestingly, and they can't really figure out why. Because when she sees Emma, she seems surprised to see her, as if, oh, I know you, but then disappears before they can ask her any questions about this. So they try to figure out. At the same time, Henry and Regina attempt to track down the author of the Once Upon a Time book. Regina coming to the conclusion after her little depression, Henry helping her out of it, to realize that you can have a happy ending. The reason you keep getting screwed over is because this book says you're a villain and the book is screwing you over. We find who wrote the book, we get to change the book, you get a happy ending. All's good. And Henry agrees to help Regina on this, thinking it's a great idea, and dubbing this Operation Mongoose. That'll be important later.
Yep.
Yeah, and again, in the meantime, we also see development of Mr. Gold, who, Hook believes still has the real dagger, and they've still got their crocodile Hook thing going on over there on the side plot. Yeah.
I'd call that a redevelopment.
Yeah, okay, redevelopment then.
Because they basically, this season, that's one big complaint. This season basically just set him all the way back, and it basically ignored all the stuff he's gone through season 1, 2, and 3.
Basically.
Yeah,
I didn't like that.
Yeah, that's gonna become much more relevant when we get to the midpoint and into the second half of the season here.
Yeah, basically Roman's his whole character development is get pissed all over.
Yes. So as we see more flashbacks, we find out the origin of the Snow Queen, or at least the immediate origin, where we find out that basically Hans came back with his 12 brothers and led an army on Arendelle, intending to locate a mysterious urn that's supposedly hidden in the mountains that can trap people like Elsa with powers.
Oh, yes!
Exactly. That was great. And he intends to use the urn to trap Elsa and then declare himself the king of Arendelle, and basically rule. And however, they end up, Kristoff and Anna try to track down the urn first against Elsa's wishes, and she ends up following them and finding them anyway. And they all end up in the cave with the urn, where Hans basically holds a knife to Kristoff's throat and says, either give me the urn or I'm going to kill your fiancé. And they don't have a choice, so they hand the urn over.
At 3 times, if you're keeping score at home. New game, people. During one of these reviews, take a drink every time the phone rings.
Meh. Hey, I can't stop the phone. Sorry. So, we see that Hans opens the urn intending to trap Elsa in it, but instead of Elsa going in it, the Snow Queen comes out of it. She takes a moment to react to what's going on and immediately uses her powers to chase Hans and his goons away.
Doesn't she kill him?
She doesn't kill him, but she keeps him in a frozen state and then sticks him in the closet.
Yeah, and I know she froze him, but I thought she also killed some of his men.
Yeah, I think she froze and disintegrated one or two of his men. Yeah, and then
no weren't his men. Those were his brothers, and they still lived to run away.
Hans came in with like 3 of his brothers, and then like 3 or 4 other dudes that were just their men, and she froze and killed a couple of their men, and him and the brothers ran away.
Okay.
Yeah,
and no older brothers were fine because they reference them later.
And froze hands, like you said.
Yeah.
But they froze.
In the closet.
Those men were literally there for the thing of to show how the differences already, because this one just used them instantly in control to kill.
Exactly, as opposed to Elsa, who obviously is the opposite. And so we see
who doesn't understand her powers, flees, says a song about how they should just get over it because the cold doesn't bother her, then creates life and just glosses over the fact she can create life. And it's never brought up, the fact she can create life.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
God, that film is horrible. Even the songs are sucky.
Indeed.
But more on sucky songs when we get to Descendants.
Yeah, and as after she's released and taken care of Hans and his goons, she reveals herself to be Ingrid, Anna and Elsa's aunt, their mother's sister, whom they never knew even existed. There was no records of her mother ever having any siblings. She was always listed in the royal charts as being an only child, so they're a little taken aback by this. So we kind of establish who she is and explain it, and she basically, our powers are, they run in the family. I had them first, and you had them.
I am a Jedi like my father before me. It's exactly what she said. Fact, Pew.
Okay, then.
Well, I was waiting while you were AFK, but it is basically I was a Jedi like my father before me. No.
Pretty much.
Basically, I will point out, this makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Frozen, which you weren't mentioning, in Frozen they do mention that that's happened before.
Fair enough.
Now we know why.
Yeah, now it makes sense.
So yeah.
You'll learn more about that in Frozen 2, Ingrid's Revenge. Anyway. So,
she can't have revenge because she died, and second of all, she doesn't want it.
Yeah, Frozen 2, which will include such great original songs such as Let It Go Again.
It's just Frozen 2, the search for more money. Also.
Pretty much.
Frozen 2, Return to Neverland.
Why the fuck not?
Frozen 2, A Tale in Time, or whatever the Cinderella one was.
Twist or something?
Yeah, Twist in Time. Oh god.
Who gives a shit in time? Who gives a shit this time?
Frozen 2, Return of Jafar in Neverland, / Simba's Proud of a Twist in Time. Boom.
There you go.
Nice.
It can happen.
Disney, folks. So the plot continues along, and then as we continue along, we see Hook take Emma on a real first date and make the crocodile give him his hand back, only for it to turn him evil. Only the hand wasn't evil; it was him being evil, and the goal was just showing him that, I guess.
I'm confused about that.
Yeah,
because the hand was clearly controlling him out way too magically. To the point I don't think it would be him unconscious. I think Mr. Gold did that and then told him it was him himself because he wants to fucking destroy him.
Well, that's the thing. I think it actually was magical, but he just told him that so he would try to it's reverse you kind of tell your lies with the truth. I'm blatantly telling you so you won't believe me, and then this way when I take it back, I can make I'll have one over on you, and then and you'll owe me one. So he
Yeah,
was just
exactly.
ensuring like future
Yeah,
favors.
that's pretty much.
Exactly.
That's
And it was also the thing I mentioned of once it goes evil and stuff, he can then tell him the whole thing of, no, it wasn't evil, that was just you. You're just like me, blah, 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 because he wants to fuck with Hook and destroy everything he is.
Yes.
well, he wants to fuck with Hook and destroy him, obviously, but at the same time, he also was probably planning for his ideal later on in the season, and he might need some villain allies. But we'll get there.
Yep.
So, we see this whole thing go down.
I'm
And,
so glad they got Loki for this season.
Ha.
Spoiler alert, it turns
Yeah.
out all of Elsa's powers come from the Tesseract Cube. Fact.
Ha! That'd be awesome.
Rumpelstiltskin's comes from the Dark Infinity Gem. Fact.
Ah. Nice.
They're not facts, people.
Indeed. So as those two keep going back and forth about, oh, you know, I know, Crocodile, that you didn't give Belle the real dagger, and I'm going to tell her if you don't help me, and they try to blackmail each other and everything else. As this is going on, multiple plots going on at the same time again, though. And Henry and Regina still trying to find the author, and Emma and the Snow Queen taught each other, and they find out that the Snow Queen didn't come through the curse; she got there some other method. And we see that another plot going on is that Rumpelstiltskin, in the first episode of the season, when he and Belle went to have their straight-up Beauty and the Beast moment in the mansion at the top of the hill that seems to be unowned, he finds the sorcerer's hat in there. You probably know this as the blue star-covered hat that Mickey is often seen wearing from having appeared in Fantasia with it. And we find out this hat can apparently absorb magic, large quantities of magic. And Rumpelstiltskin intends to use this for whatever nefarious purpose he is plotting toward.
Which I have to ask, I don't know if you'd agree, Pew, is there any better symbolism than that? The hat worn by Mickey Mouse is nowadays, in the modern stuff, destroying magic. That is the perfect symbolism. And Disney has lost its way, and Disney has lost its way, and Disney is now just destroying the magic that made Disney Disney. It's the perfect symbolism.
They ran out of stuff to retcon, so they're retconning themselves now.
Yes, and we find out a little bit about the history of the hat, in that the hat was guarded by the Sorcerer's Apprentice, who is not Mickey Mouse, but an old bearded dude. And basically, several past Dark Ones.
I have a thing about that. For the longest time, I thought that he was actually the apprentice, or actually the proper sorcerer, because that would be the perfect disguise for the sorcerer to be the apprentice.
That was true. I kind of thought that for a little while too. I'll be honest with you.
I know. I was wouldn't that be awesome?
He seems to be the proper sorcerer because he looks like the actual sorcerer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like you would expect a sorcerer to look.
No, I mean like the actual one that had the beard and stuff. But
he does look like Yen Sid. Yes, you're right.
But on the flip side as well, he is also Mickey Mouse because let's not forget he was turned into a mouse temporarily on the show, like a little head, like a little wink, wink. Did you get it?
Boom.
Yeah. Yes, that was after we see the Dark Ones have been trying to get a hold of the hat for a long time, including Chucky, the previous Dark One.
We can't call them Dark Ones in this day and age, Jim. They're African Americans.
Nice.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Funny.
No, Dark Ones has any evil magic, in case people think I was being serious.
Yeah, but yeah, Zoso, of course, the previous Dark One, played by I forget his name, the guy who played Chucky. Breddorf, there we go. Anyway, so we see Zoso in the past tried to steal the hat, but there was a protection on it, and he couldn't get to it because only goodness can touch the hat. Darkness can't touch the hat. Rumpelstiltskin, being Rumpelstiltskin, finds a way around that by managing to get a hold of some pure goodness and putting it on his dagger, which will let him access the hat despite his inherent darkness.
Because that's how that should work.
That's how that works, yeah. So he gains control of the hat and plans to suck up a lot of magic, including Elsa's magic, in order to power and whatever his nefarious plot is that has yet to be revealed at this point in the season.
It's a device to block out the sun. Spoiler, Maggie shoots him.
Ah! Nice. He wants an infinite amount of magic, but the apprentice who is a mouse bites Rumpelstiltskin, causing him to drop the hat. which allows Anna, who is with him at the time, because she went to see Rumpelstiltskin on the idea that, well, he's a powerful sorcerer, maybe he can help my sister, and he basically used her because he was legitimate evil Dark One at that point.
Which, fun fact, that hat explains a plot hole. Where's Fred from Angel? Why hasn't she been in this series? She's a fairy. She's got magic. Surely she should be around, right? No, she's in the hat. Boom.
Makes sense. All the rest of the fairies went in the hat.
From now, yeah, but I mean, she must have gone in the hat before the other fairies, like off screen. That's my theory, or that's what I'm gonna go with. Is every character that's magic that we've seen that suddenly disappeared without any sort of rationality, they're in the hat.
Works for me.
Fuck it, they're in the hat.
They're in the hat. Skype
It's literally like they said on The Simpsons, a wizard did it. Literally. Literally, a wizard did it.
Quite literally, Wizard did it. So, basically, we see that Anna had gone to Rumpelstiltskin and he tried to use her, but she turned the tables on him and managed to get his dagger and forced him to return her back home and to restore the apprentice to his original form.
And get the box. Or hat, whatever.
Yes, and get the hat. Which the hat inevitably, as she returns and discovers, Anna returns to Arendelle and discovers that basically her sister has gotten real chummy with her supposed aunt, and that there's seems to be some odd behavior going on around here, and inevitably her aunt basically she's kind of crazy, and is basically trying to control Elsa and make her a new sister.
She just wants to be loved.
Pretty much.
Because she was actually betrayed by her family.
She was. We'll go into that in a moment. But and she ends up in possession of the hat as well. After she... because Anna intends to use the hat to get rid of her aunt, but she stops her. Ingrid stops her and locks her up and takes the hat.
Yep.
That's
also, if you look very closely... I think it's episode 1 or 2, right when the ice powers started to hit, you do see in the background the dead brother of Prince Charming, now as a skeleton, looking and going, "What's this? What's this? There's white stuff everywhere. What's this? What's this?" It's very subtle, but it's there.
That would make all my dreams come true. If
That's really amazing as that would have been, but I don't think that happened.
If Nightmare Christmas finds some way to enter here, even if it's like the CG with the rock trolls and stuff, and just for like a split, few scenes of Nightmare Before Christmas, I will squee everywhere.
In fact, if you pause the scene, you can see it in the background with him singing. If you actually read his lips, it's saying, "What's this? What's this?"
Oh my god, that'd make me so happy.
I'd be like, "What the fuck's this doing here?"
I want it to be true now. Why do you say these things that I really want to exist? We're just going to have them not exist.
That's his job. That's what he does.
I just help Jim's reviews get facts.
Indeed.
Sometimes accurate, sometimes made up for the fact that I can.
Indeed.
That's my superpower. I have fact magic.
He does. So as we go on, let's just kind of go through this. As the plotline's developing, Snow White regains her confidence and ability to do stuff when she catches Will, who previously got arrested for breaking into the library. But she thought that her husband let him out, so she
being
could catch
drunk.
him. Yeah, and being drunk.
That character's completely fucked over this season. He is one of Robin Hood's men, and what they do with him in this season, it just left me saying, really? You're going to do that with him?
At least it seems that people are watching him. He could still be stuck on Once Upon a Time in Wonderland.
He's just arbitrary.
In Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, he actually had a big story. Then this one just completely ignores that and basically just uses him as like a throwaway joke character. It's like, "Oh, look, I'm like a criminal. Oh, I'm breaking in stuff." And he falls over. It's like, fuck off.
Oh, look, I'm not now. And, oh, look, stuff. And I'm just like, hey, we need a convenient character. It's kind of sort of in the cast, but not really. Boom.
Yeah, this character is more of a plot device than Dr. Adams ever was.
Ha!
Yes.
Nice.
May Dr. Adams rest in peace.
May he rest in peace. Until he returns with a cyborg suit and Raven's cape and Clayface's powers.
Or may he rest in pieces, depending on how he died.
Oh. So, As we keep going along here, basically, we see her regain her competence as the mayor, and everybody tries to track down Ingrid, who now disappeared, as they figure out via Will that she was hiding out in the ice cream parlor because he broke in there during the power outage and all the ice cream was still frozen. Because, yeah, that's how you run an ice cream parlor. You shouldn't legitimately plug your shit in when there is power or anything.
No, she's just using her actual magic. It's like, eh, it'll save me like a couple of dollars a month on electricity in this magical town where everything gets reset like my power bill would be. That's cool. I'll just use my powers because fuck it.
Well, no, things don't get reset anymore. The curse broke, remember?
Yeah, but she's been using it since season 1.
True. Fair enough. So, we find out the Snow Queen has an evil plan as expected, and she acquires the services of one Sidney Glass, aka the Magic Mirror, and basically takes possession of him to use him to her advantage, on the promise that she will free him from the mirror and let him go on his way if he does what she needs, which, that's how it goes. We start seeing more connections be developed here. We find out that Belle had also met Anna at one point when they had worked together, as Belle was attempting to what was it? No, Anna was going to the rock to see the rock trolls, and she showed Belle where they were. And I can't remember why Belle needed the rock trolls.
But I will say that's
Her
something.
mother died and she didn't remember why, and she wanted the rock trolls to regain her
Oh,
memory.
that's right, because her mother died and she didn't have any memory of it, and right, that's why. Thank you.
Yeah, and I will say that's something that's a little fun. But I don't know if anyone thinks that.
What's that?
This is a very different villain, the Ice Queen is, to any of the other ones we've had in Once Upon a Time.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Because she would make deals with people and actually uphold her end of the bargain with no strings attached or anything. Whereas all the other ones, it's like, yeah, sure, here you go. I brought them back, do them killed instantly or something like that. Like, they all got their way to deliberately say, yeah, I'm going to help you, but then fuck you over.
Yeah.
She's just like, no, I just want to get what I want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she makes a deal with Rumpelstiltskin, like, look, I understand you're going to use the hat magic to take over the world, fine. You go take over the world, just leave me this town and what I want in this town, and I will not bother you.
Yep. And of course, Rumpelstiltskin being him is basically like, no, I want it all.
Yeah, of course, because no character development anymore. But, so as we go, we find out that Belle and Anna had this connection in the past, and that they knew each other, even though Belle had initially withheld that information, not wanting to reveal the connection that she had seen Anna at a point after Charming had met her. And
if I was Belle, I would have mentioned that straight away, because this is my one chance to be relevant this season.
Yeah. Yeah, the only reason she didn't want to do that is because she chose her memories over saving Anna, and that's how Anna got in the possession of the Snow Queen, and she didn't get her memories back anyway because they got destroyed.
Exactly. Yeah. They managed to. She got a potion from the trolls that said if you take this potion and you do this, where your mother died, you'll remember what happened. But they got attacked by the Snow Queen, who found them, and both Anna and the potion were about to fall over the cliff, and Belle chose to save the potion instead of Anna, which caused her to fall into the clutches of the Snow Queen and led to...
Which, that's something in Once Upon a Time...
It wasn't a potion, it was a rock.
It was a rock that was going to be used to make a potion.
Yeah, but that's something in Once Upon a Time and various stuff that you kind of touch upon then. Even though not really this situation, per se. Why do they normally make potions and then put them in really breakable glasses for plot convenience in various stuff that's fantasy and supernatural? Like, if I make a potion, I'm like, okay, this is going to be the only one. I'm going to pour it inside like a metal flask or something like that, or like some sort of goblet or an iron box. I'm going to make sure it's not in something that the second I accidentally trip, breaks, and I'm like, oh god, there goes the only cure.
They hadn't made like, metal glasses. That's why they're called glass. You don't have like cups or thermoses or like That's what they need. They need like potion thermoses. Because potion thermos would be fucking awesome.
But they must have, because this exists around the same time as Hook's world, and he has metal flasks.
Well, that's because he's a drunk. They don't want to be associated with
Robin Hood. I think Robin Hood had one too. So it's like they had a metal flask. Why not just pour in a metal flask?
Flask, I think, associates with drinking, which they don't want to be associated with. But potion making's okay.
Yeah, I am aware of that, Pew. I'm just saying it's not just in Once Upon a Time. I'm saying it's in other stuff that's fantasy. Why not put it in something that's less breakable?
I'm telling you, they need a thermos.
And when people are like, oh, well, we can't put in a flask because flasks weren't invented yet. Either A, just say flasks were invented, or B, ignore the fact that when you're saying that, it's also normally a world that has dragons and shit.
A thermos, a fucking thermos. Get a fucking thermos.
I can believe dragons, and I can believe monsters and goblins and stuff, but a flask in this stage? No, you've gone too far.
Or like a freaking water bottle of whatever.
Well, back to Jim.
Any
Yeah,
other containers.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Any other container would be perfect.
Yes.
Hell, Tupperware.
Tupperware, perfect. So, as we come through here, we find out everything that's going on, and that Ingrid actually had two sisters, Anna and Elsa's mother, and a third sister named Helga. Anna and Elsa's mother being named Gerda. And we find out that basically Ingrid developed her powers relatively early on when they were threatened by a man who tried to kidnap them, and she made a tree branch fall and kill him. And that made her afraid of her powers, much like Elsa was after hurting Anna. And so she basically became a recluse, much like Elsa, hiding from social life, interacting with her sisters, but that being about the extent of what she was willing to do, not going to any public parties. Despite being the eldest and heir to the throne, she basically removed herself, leaving the middle sister Helga as the heir apparent to the throne.
Which how fucked up for her sisters. She kills a guy, and almost straight away they're like, that's cool.
Well, he was going to hurt them. It was self-defense.
It was, but in most stuff, even if it's self-defense, if they kill them, you may at least freak out. A hell of a lot.
That's
this
true.
This one's like, nah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Our heroes, people.
So we find out that they were young girls when this all happened, and as they got older, the other two girls were, the ones seen publicly, and nobody had really seen her for a long time or knew if she was really around. They knew there was a reclusive third sister, but nobody had really seen her, and it was generally assumed that Helga would probably take the throne since Ingrid seemed to have disappeared. And as they grow older, we see the another great, which I like the great use of his character because I didn't realize it was him until later. We see that Helga is being courted by the Duke of Wesselton, who is only referred to as the Duke early on, which is kind of cool because you don't realize who he is until later because he's much younger, and this because
They got a really good actor to play a younger version of him.
They did.
Like he did look very similar. Like right away I spotted it. Like holy shit, is that him? And then once he did the dancing thing, like holy fuck, you knew it was him. Like,
Yeah,
I knew on sight, but then once he did the dancing.
Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't notice the dancing thing. I only noticed it when later on, as we find out, the three sisters went and visited Rumpelstiltskin in the hopes that he could cure Ingrid of her power so that she could be with them again, because they didn't like the fact that she was always ostracized and keeping herself away. And Rumpelstiltskin, again being a dick, decides, okay, yeah, I'll help you. Sure, ladies, no problem, dearies. And basically gives them some. So they enchants their little their ribbons that they wear on their arms, and says this should help keep everything in check. And if necessary, here's an urn that you could trap her in if she goes nuts and tries to kill you.
Wait, he didn't enchant the ribbons. He said, "Give me those goddamn ribbons here. Have some fucking useless doves and have an urn."
That's right. He enchanted them later, right? So he says, "You give me the 3
They were
ribbons."
already enchanted. They were already enchanted themselves by just having their emotional or psychological bond to it.
Okay, so he took the ribbons and what did he give him? He gave him the urn in an emergency, but he gave him something else. What was the other thing?
Gloves.
He told them that.
Oh, the Elsa gloves, right?
He told them that in the future a curse will be cast years later. Don't worry about that. One of you will be grown up and in that town, and when I walk in, I want free ice cream. Okay?
Fact.
Nice. That would have been hilarious.
And then we cut later on to him walking into the shop and going, "Rocky Road, dear." Fuck.
Yeah, it's like that thing with Regina where when he said, instead of please when he says dear, she has to obey him.
Yeah, when he asks for ice cream.
Yeah. So anyway, she gives them these gloves that will help keep her powers in check because the magic comes out of her hands.
Which also, I believe, aren't they Anna's? Oh, not Anna. Aren't they Elsa's gloves?
I believe they're the same gloves that ended up being given to Elsa. Yeah, so Gerda probably held on to them. But she's given these gloves and also an urn that, in the event that the powers go out of control and something happens, this will remove your powers, dearie. Which is what he tells her. What he means is this will trap you in this for all eternity unless somebody lets you out. But of course, he's not going to say that. So he doesn't.
But her powers are with her, so when she's trapped in the urn, her powers are indeed in the urn. So
That
what
is true.
is true from a certain point of view.
Exactly. That's how he works. That's how he works. So they go back to the palace, and Ingrid starts interacting with the public a little bit more now that she has the gloves. And who should she run into out in the gazebo but the Duke of Wesselton, who basically we realize how much of a dick he is at this point, which I didn't pick up on who the character was until this point. And everybody was, wait, oh, that's who you are, you fucking asshole. Where he basically is like, oh, so you're the elusive older sister, the actual heir to the throne. Well, fuck Helga. Hi, I'm Duke of Wesselton. How you doing? And basically starts trying to seduce her, which she has no interest in. And after her power inadvertently, he realizes her powers and realizes she's some kind of freak. Like, I'm going to review you. I'm going to get rid of no, hello. And she basically goes to kill him, but Helga jumps in the way and gets frozen solid and then turns into ice dust. And it's like, oh, great. Now, which Gerda, having come up behind, Gerda came up behind her and saw this and freaked out and put her in the urn. And that's how Ingrid got trapped in the urn, and the Duke of Wesselton basically ran off to go tell the people. And Gerda, having no other options, went to see the rock trolls and basically told Pabby, I like his name is Pabby, by the way, and she tells Pabby, look, I don't know what to do. My one sister is dead. My other one has these uncontrolled powers, and I trapped her in an urn.
And the prom's tomorrow.
What's that?
And the prom's tomorrow.
And the prom's tomorrow. Can you erase the memories of everyone in Arendelle of my sisters ever existing? Because if this gets out, the whole royal family is fucked. Erase everybody's memory. I already changed all the royal records, so there's no record of my sisters ever being born or existing. If you could just erase everyone's memories in Arendelle of them ever being around, I would greatly appreciate that. And Pabby basically gave the once upon a time speech of, I can do this for you, Gerda, but magic comes with a price, basically. This is powerful magic. This is, going to have drastic effects. They performed the magic.
What's up with those fucking trolls? Even in the first movie, like, they were like, let's erase everybody's memories. Yeah, it's totally a good thing, or whatever. And then, then they just go 180 on it and be like, oh, you want us to unerase all that? Sure, why the fuck not? Like,
What you're saying is you can't reason with a troll. Remember that, internet.
It's just, they don't give a fuck. If you ask them to erase memories, they'll do it. If you ask them to give memories, they'll do it. They don't give a fuck. Like, they're like, hey, tell us that secret that nobody was ever supposed to know. Sure, why not? It's like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
They don't even care at all. They have no, conscience, whatever.
So Grandpappy does this and erases everyone's memories, and that's why nobody knew of the sisters, and that's why Elsa and Anna didn't know they had aunts. And the whole thing comes spilling out, and basically that's why Ingrid, and we find out that Ingrid's entire motivation is that she's kind of got a little off the deep end, and she intends to make Elsa and Emma believing that only people with powers will understand her. So she intends to make Elsa and Emma her two new sisters so they can live happily ever after.
Yep.
And basically that's her evil plan. And she basically goes to Rumpelstiltskin and says, look, I know what you're trying to do to take over the world, so let's make a deal here. You get the world, I get Storybrooke, because I know what you need to enact your spell that you're missing. So if we agree to this and you give me back my ribbons for my sisters and I will tell you what it is you're missing in your little incantation to, sever yourself from the dagger so you can go out in the world and take it over. And they make an agreement on this, and she gets the ribbons back, and they're enchanted. And she tells Rumpelstiltskin what he's missing, and that being basically somebody good, the powers of Emma, basically.
Oh, not character development. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that too. But you need Emma's
trolls.
I know what you're missing, Rumpelstiltskin. What's that? Consistency with your character.
Yeah, that too.
There you go.
So she whispers to him in his ear, and we find out later that it's Emma's powers that he needs, and he enacts a plan for that later. But we see that Ingrid then proceeds to enact the primary portion of her plan, which involves casting the Curse of Shattered Sight.
Which she's an idiot.
Why is she an idiot?
She went to Rumpelstiltskin, made a deal so she can get her sisters, one of which is Emma, then tells Rumpelstiltskin, most selfish individual ever, that what he needs is Emma's powers.
Hmm.
Did no one see where this is going to go?
That is a valid point. Yeah, that was really stupid. I did not think of that. That is incredibly... Wow. Okay, then. Well, idiocy aside.
Oh, Pew's still here.
Ha! So she proceeds to... We find out that the reason she was using Sydney was she wanted to get...
so mean.
And she's good with magic mirrors, and she has this big magic snowflake mirror, and she's going to shatter it to cast a Curse of Shattered Sight, which we see an example of this having been used before. And basically, this
that is really amazing with Charming and
yeah, it makes everyone.
You got this on sale. No, I got it new. You didn't get the warranty. I have fucking babies, and I have like hate when they wake up, and it's just bullshit because they don't really have that much hatred in them. So like, they just argue about the bullshit.
Yeah, basically, the spell of Shattered Sight basically makes everyone see them supposedly as you truly see them. What it actually does, it basically removes any layers of love or goodness, and basically you just see outright, hatred and dislike of each other, and it leads people to try to kill each other, which is basically our intent, is let everybody in the town kill each other, and except for my sisters and I, who will be immune because we have the magic ribbons that I put on them, my magic, that connect our powers together, so we are now nigh unstoppable, and that will keep us immune to this spell.
Which, if they're going to reverse all of Rumpelstiltskin's character development and stuff, and they had this, couldn't they just have him suck up all the glass, and that erases what's good? Like, he sacrifices himself again, but in doing so becomes evil. Thus, it's not as suddenly like, what the fuck?
That would have been interesting.
Just because it's something that literally would take away all of his goodness.
Yeah.
But it would give him at least some way out, because people would try and find a cure for the mirror curse.
Right. So... The curse, and that the reason she had to make a deal with Rumpelstiltskin is because being the Dark One, he was immune to this curse, and as a result, she needed to kind of get him out of the way. So she engages the curse, everybody in town goes nuts, and there's a lot of awesome scenes where, Snow White and Charming start bitching about petty things after having been... the good guys know that this curse is coming, so in order to help protect everybody, everybody's trying to lock themselves up and seal themselves up in places where they won't hurt themselves or anybody else. So Charming and Snow White lock themselves in the jailhouse. Regina magically seals herself inside her crypt tomb thing.
Captain Hook just uses his hook to hook onto a meat place in a butchery and just hangs there next to the meat.
Yeah, he ties himself up in the down at the docks at the butcher shop.
I was kidding about him actually using a hook and going onto the meat hook. That would have been amazing.
Yeah. And what,
she used a fucking meat cleaver at Prince Charming. That was fucking badass. Like, you know what? Fuck it. Straight up murder. Like,
Yeah. Before sealing herself in her tomb, Regina seals Henry in the mayor's office so that he's safe and out of the way. And everybody kind of sets them in places where they won't get hurt or hurt anybody else in preparation for the curse to come through, which does come through. And basically everybody except for Elsa and Emma, and of course Ingrid herself, and Rumpelstiltskin succumb to the curse. And they all start beating each other up in the streets and trying to kill each other and shit. Except for those locked up. And, Charming and Snow White are locked up in the jail, and they start bickering about stupid shit, which is hilarious. And Emma and Elsa are like...
This goes to show what's wrong with this show a little bit.
Okay.
I still love the show, but let's face it, if everyone in the town had gone to shit, and everyone was now using their most evil forms and stuff like that, wouldn't they have to panic like fuck because Ruby would be the wolf? But it was now pure evil.
No, it's fine. She's in the hat.
Yeah. But logically, no, because we actually see it this season.
Did we?
Yeah, she had an appearance in one episode.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I must have missed it.
But you'd think that would be a worry or concern.
You would think, except that I would theorize, knowing Granny would have made sure she had that hood tied around her, so she just turned an evil human and not evil wolf.
Yeah, but if she's an evil human, what's she going to do? She's going to be like, well, fucking just take the hood off.
That is true. I don't know. Plot hole.
That could be a giant concern. I understand why they didn't do that, but I would have just liked to have seen the wolf running around.
That would have been cool. But basically it's just people fist fighting in the streets. And, despite this being a magical town. And it's like Emma and Elsa trying to figure out how to break what they can do to break the curse. And or at least get themselves free, because they realize that they can't kill Ingrid because they're having the ribbons on them. They can't use their magic against her.
So I was going to say it's because, to be fair, there's only like 3 people in the town that use magic. Rumpelstiltskin, Regina, and Emma.
And the 3 involved, yeah.
Now you do have the fairies, but I think they might be immune because light magic.
Also, all their magic is bullshit constricted by moralities. Like, I'm sorry, like, I hate this again, but, like, at least Regina, like, she can use fireballs and enemies can use energy blast, but the fairies, like, I could use an energy blast, but save a puppy first and come back. I feel like that's how the fairies are.
Pretty much.
You kind of need to fucking fight, okay? You need to fight. I can't save a puppy every time I need to attack somebody, okay?
Yeah, but like I've explained in the past, though.
I know, it's just
characters like Regina and Rumpelstiltskin keep using it selfishly, and that's how they become villains.
I know, but I feel like Emma uses her powers to fight sometimes, and she doesn't have to do, like, a retarded good deed every time she has to fight someone.
There's a famous Disney quote, Pew. With great power comes great responsibility.
Famous Disney quote.
He's not wrong.
I know, I get it, but, like, I just feel like their powers are way more limited than Emma's.
Yeah.
Yeah, but another famous Disney quote is anger leads to hatred.
Oh my god, fuck you and his stupid fucking Disney quotes.
I'm not wrong.
He's not wrong.
No, but, like, it's not fucking Disney quotes. Shut up.
All right. Getting back to the plot. Ingrid had conveniently mentioned that that basically their magic was basically the most pure good thing, and that there was nothing equal to it in good, and so there's nothing equal to it, and so Emma, using logic, says, well, there's nothing equal to it, but if we can find a darkness opposite to it, that should do the trick. So they proceed to go to Regina's tomb, where she has locked herself in, and immediately after being hit with the curse, in hilarious fashion, looks down at her, basically her blazer, like, what the hell am I wearing? Turns herself back into the full-on evil queen. So they take the spell down, and Emma proceeds to go down and start taunting the shit out of her. About, like, yeah, that's right, yeah, I hate you, I wanted to kill you, I'm gonna kick your ass, yeah, Henry's better with me, yeah, you're a bitch, fuck you. And, I wanted to get rid of Robin Hood and make sure you were miserable, that's why I brought Marion back, yeah, fuck you. And,
yeah, I chopped down your apple tree.
Exactly.
And yeah, I was the one who, I don't know, slightly damaged your office table.
Something. So, being super evil, she fires a blast of super evil at them, and they hold their wrists up, and it frees the spell. And they then proceed to run away. The queen then tries to run after them, but loses them, and instead ends up going to the jailhouse, where she finds Snow White, and basically proceeds to start talking shit about Snow White, like, look, like, there you are, I ought to kill you, I ought to kill you a long time ago, I wasn't helping you, you ruined my life, I was 10!
Yeah, and it was stupid how Snow White actually held her own against the evil queen for a little bit. It's like, really?
Well, in all fairness, the evil queen made the mistake of, I'm not going to use any of my evil magic, I'm going to sword fight you. We've seen Snow White is a very apt warrior when it comes to hand-to-hand combat.
She is, but I'm like, it shouldn't have been that way. It was stupid.
She's also really good at ranged combat.
It was stupid to basically try and make the Mary Sue that is obviously Snow White suddenly become, oh look, she's able to hold her own against all the villains. Like, fuck off.
We already knew that she could. You didn't have to prove it to us.
Yeah, she's been fighting Regina for a while.
She's been fighting Regina, but she hasn't been able to actually beat Regina because Regina always sends minions. Whenever it was an straight out fight one-on-one, she always lost.
Fair enough.
Which is how it should have been, because she was always scared of the evil queen. Mm-hmm. I mean, this one, she's like, nah, I could have beat her anyway.
Yeah, well, because right now the spell of Shadowed Sight, she sees pure what that is, and that's that she hates Regina for constantly trying to hunt her down. The fear isn't there anymore. Yes, that's why she could fight Regina.
I get that, Jim, but I was saying from a story standpoint, why the fuck would they even do this if Regina then goes, I'm just gonna use sword? If Regina hated her that much, just fucking throw a fireball and get it over with.
Yeah, like, that would make absolutely no sense why she'd free her and let her in the cell. If she really hated her, to be like, you know what? How about you're in your cell, and how about I take this knife and stick it in your face? How about I shove a fireball down your throat? How about I just turn you into dust? How about I just instantly one-shot you because you're clearly defenseless right now?
Yeah. It made no sense other than they wanted to show Snow White being fucking awesome. It's like, fuck off.
Yes, but come on, give it credit. That fight is fucking awesome.
The only reason that fight's awesome because the random bullshit she argues with Charming. That's
it. I didn't even find that fight awesome. I just sat there thinking, oh god, they've literally made her a Mary Sue at this point.
That happened a long time ago. But anyway,
The only thing I liked out of it was the comedic dialogue that it allowed to be written result as, but otherwise the complete fight and actual physical things going on was completely stupid.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But anyway, so this all goes down, and now having had their powers debonded from Ingrid so they could fight her, Elsa and Emma proceed to confront her in her ice cave, wherever the hell that is. And,
It's next to the Fortress of Solitude.
yeah, anybody notice that every time they do this, storybook suddenly gets larger and larger? Like, oh yeah, there's a mansion over there where the Mad Hatter lives. There's another mansion over there where the Sorcerer's Hat is. And oh, there's a big mountain over there where there's an ice cave.
To be fair, they did tell you in the first season, storybook may be bigger than what the people suspect because they have to bring a whole world over. And it's a magical world, so therefore, while it may appear tiny on our map, it could be much bigger once you get inside of it. And don't make the Doctor Who joke pure. I know it's really obvious, but it's more the thing of it's magic, and they said it was constantly expanding because of Deep World. It makes sense.
Fair enough. So they confront her in her ice cave, and basically have it out and go back and have basically are going to like fight each other since they're free now, and Ingrid's going to like destroy them. It goes kind of crazy until who should show up but
Superman.
No. Well, basically they fight each other, but what ends up happening first, I think it happened first, was they end up fighting Anna and Kristoff, who wash up on the beach. And they reunite with Anna, and although Kristoff is unconscious for convenience sake because he jumped up and kind of didn't know what was going on, and so they had to knock him out. But so Anna goes with it. Anna found a message that was in the ocean that we saw Gerda writing as her and her husband, I don't remember his name, but basically when their ship sank, she wrote a letter and put it in a bottle saying they have to know the truth. And she threw the bottle out hoping it would never get to them, which of course by convenience sake it does. And we find out that they, I remember how they got there now. Backtrack.
They got there from Blackbeard's ship.
It's Hook's ship.
But Blackbeard was in charge. At that moment, it was his ship.
Fair enough. Anyway, so they find out that basically Hook wants to get the Jolly Roger back. I don't remember why.
Because it's his ship.
because it's his ship, but didn't he need to use it for something?
Yeah, he wanted to get the Jolly Roger back to sail to see Emma.
Okay, then.
I thought. Or he needed to go do something. It was something stupid.
Yeah.
Because it was pretty recent due to the fact how basically when they actually came in our world they were just about to drown.
Yeah.
Yeah, she used the wishing star.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We should also probably note real quick here. We find out that Ingrid and Emma have a backstory as well. Apparently, in the backstory, Ingrid met the sorcerer, the sorcerer's apprentice rather, in Arendelle, who basically tells her, "Look, the sorcerer really needs that hat back. I know you made a deal with, somebody with Rumpelstiltskin in regards to the hat, because Rumpelstiltskin ended up taking the urn that had Elsa in it, and so she lost one of the sisters and was going to trade the hat to get her back. And the apprentice is like, look, I promise you will get your sisters back if you give the hat to me so I can give it back to the sorcerer."
Also, his future telling is more accurate and longer in term than Rumpelstiltskin's.
Yes. And so he's powered by the sorcerer. It was established. Yeah. So, the apprentice opens up a door and says, "Go to this door. It's going to take you to a unique world. Wait there, and inevitably you're going to end up, She basically gives her a scroll that says, when the time is right, you'll know this is what to do. This is what's going to happen. You'll be with your sisters. I promise you." And she goes through the door, basically establishes herself a life in the regular world, in our world, where inevitably she became one of Emma's foster care mothers during the course of her childhood, simply when she was a little bit older.
And she was going to adopt her, and then she thought Emma had magic, and then she was like, "Hey, stop this car with your magic." And she was like, "Hey, you fucking crazy bitch. This is stupid." And then she ran away.
Exactly. She was going to, they got along really, really well, and she was going to full-on adopt Emma, which she revealed. However, she kind of went overboard. It was like, "Emma, I know you have powers. You have to use the powers," which Emma knew nothing about at this point and couldn't use, and threw her in front of a car and almost killed her, and then she ran the hell away from this crazy woman. And we also find out that they met later on when Emma first arrived in Storybrooke. She was running the ice cream parlor, and when Emma walked in, she's like, "What the hell are you doing here? How did you find me? What's going on?" And unfortunately, because of the negative reaction, she had to erase those memory and take that memory too.
To be fair, I don't think you can actually call her the crazy woman. I'd say what Emma perceived to be crazy, because she was accurate. That was an accurate way of stopping doing stuff, considering Emma had magic.
Emma thought she was crazy.
Yeah, she appeared to be crazy to Emma at the time.
Yeah.
So we find out about this backstory going on here, and we find out what's going on there with that whole situation.
This is gonna be a really long thing.
I thought I'm trying to get through this as fast as I can. We can go off on tangents.
It's because it's literally you reading the story. We're just inserting our thoughts about characters and stuff.
I'm trying not to read the story. I'm just trying to cover the events so we can talk about them. But whatever happened, Hook needed his pirate ship back, and he managed to get it, but it was shrunken and in a bottle. And so they managed to get some magic to bring it back to full size. And we find out that wait, no, was that how they got there? I'm confused.
Yes, because when it went full size, it washed it up. I believe.
Okay. I know Ariel randomly got shoved into an episode somewhere for no reason. I'm trying to remember. My mind's not that good at this.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's what happened. Pew? Pew?
Yeah?
You can stop gymming us, but yeah.
Oh, my God, I was talking for like 5 minutes. You guys didn't hear me. God damn it.
Of course you were.
Sure you were.
Your answer?
Basically, oh, no, I was even quickly summarizing something for Jim, so he wouldn't have to do it take forever.
But I said your answer to what I said.
What did you say?
So you were gymming us, thank you.
I wasn't gymming you. I was talking, and apparently you were talking at the same time as me, so I heard my voice.
We were asking you, how did Anna basically get washed up on the beach? Was it because she was shrunk with Hook's ship, and when he enlarged it, she got washed up too?
No, she didn't get shrunk by Hook. She was off the ship. Remember, they put her in the freaking trunk and just threw her off into the ocean. And then Elsa was like, "Hey, I have the wishing star, but I don't know what's the wishing star." And I wish Anna was here. Boom! There you go.
That's right. She had Anna's necklace, which was the wishing star, when she wished that Anna were there.
That, and the time I was muted and talking.
Okay. Right. So she used the wishing star that turned out to be Anna's necklace, and it brought the trunk because Kristoff and Anna had been locked in a trunk and thrown into the ocean. And they washed up on the beach, and the trunk opens up. And Kristoff jumps up and is like, "We got to find a way home. What's going on?" And Anna knocks him out with a rock because she knows she needs to go help Elsa because she knows, and whatnot. So Kristoff got a bleh.
Actually, these are kind of events that are kind of out of order. Like, they go back to the station, shattered site, fight, whatever, blah, 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 go back to the ocean, figure shit out. But, yeah.
I'm just trying to go through it. So, at any rate, they end up there, and inevitably Anna finds this letter from Gerda that was sent. And she runs into as Ingrid's about to destroy Emma and Elsa and reads the letter aloud, in which Gerda basically says, "Look, here's what happened. I had these two sisters. Ingrid had powers like my daughter. We were worried about this. Our other sister was inadvertently killed, and I panicked and I put Ingrid in the urn. But I shouldn't have done that. She's my sister, and I love her. And I was completely wrong. Contained herein are the rocks with the memories of everyone in Arendelle of my sister, so they'll remember. Please tell my sister I love her and go free her from the urn where I put it in the ice cave up in the mountains." So everybody can go back to normal. And Ingrid reads this and realizes Gerda really did love her and regretted everything she did, and her sisters didn't actually, hate her, which leads her to feel remorse over everything that she's done, and she sucks the shattered sight curse back into her and uses all her power to remove it and sacrifices herself to save the town.
Yep.
Ta-da.
Yeah.
I just heard that.
That's a cat.
Okay.
There's a cat walking behind my house today. I don't know where it came from. It's just there. Anyway, so that's the end of the first half, and we begin proceeding into the second half, which is going to have a focus on Rumpelstiltskin and some other villains that he is working with for the earlier mentioned plan involving the hat.
Yep.
We find out that because of Ingrid's lingering magic, anybody who passes the border out of town will not be able to come back. They'll remember who they are this time, but they can't get back in. So,
Unless they have a copy of plot convenience paper.
Yeah, exactly. Unless there's a plot convenience scroll.
Yep. A page from the book.
Yeah, and in the meantime, they find out. Marion was hit with that ice curse a while back, and Regina took her heart out so it wouldn't freeze, so she wouldn't die. And she tells Robin, "Look, Ingrid's magic is still lingering, and Marion's gonna die. I can't break this curse. I tried everything. The only way she's gonna live is if you take her out there where there isn't magic. She can't go alone. She doesn't know this world. The only person who go with her is you. You, her, and Rohan need to go into the normal world. I'll put her heart back in, and as soon as we cross the border, she'll be okay."
Am I the only one that wanted Will to go with her? Because I thought, like, he always, like, talked about how much, like, how he remembered all these good things about her. And he didn't love her or anything, but at least they had a mutual accord, or at least knew each other. So, you know what? Like, fucking send her. Let's fucking send him.
Yes, but as Robin Hood said,
I wanted Will to just be killed. You said
Well, see, that would have been just as well. He would have been killed, never seen from again, because they can't end her back. So it's just as being like killed, except he gets to.
Well, at this point, Robin Hood, as his honor as a husband, he took a vow to Marion, and he has to see that through.
Yeah, but he was willing to break it. Well, what the fuck's the point now?
He wasn't willing to break it.
He was willing to break his marriage vow because Marion said it was okay and whatever, it's fine.
He was willing to break it only really because of the whole love of Regina and the fact he thought Marion was dead. Since Marion came back, he's been with her constantly.
Yeah, but then he's also constantly...
He strayed slightly, but every time
he didn't stray slightly. He's always went back to Regina, and even
slightly, he banged her in a tomb for like hours.
Yeah, and even Marion said like
afterwards, he still said he was still compelled to go with her because it's his son.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his son, but
like, Rohan, yeah. So they proceed to leave, and Marion is revealed to be okay, and they head out. And they kind of upsets Regina, but
I liked what they did with Marion.
Does it really matter? Other than pissing off the queen and giving her another reason to fuck her over.
Mm-hmm. Now,
yeah, but it made sense.
Now, meanwhile, back in the Enchanted Forest, we established the other villains of the season, where we find out that Rumpelstiltskin needed to get something rather important, specifically a curse. I think was that the curse that he was retrieving from.
I think it was.
They started off with that part we're meeting about the gauntlet.
Yeah. So he first of all, Belle gets kidnapped by the three additional villains of the season, and those being Maleficent, Ursula, and Cruella de Vil, respectively.
Yep.
And they kidnap Belle because they want Rumpelstiltskin to basically give them shit. And Rumpelstiltskin's like, I'm the Dark One. How about I just take back what's mine and I murder you all?
Okay.
No, it's not okay.
No, I mean, like, you don't have to, like, quote the scene, like, and reenact it. We got it.
Yeah. So we find out that they have a backstory, and then later on, Rumpelstiltskin makes an agreement with them and says, look, I understand that we had some differences before, but I think we can work together, and if we get this curse, it's going to help all of us, so that we villains can get our happy endings. And he basically uses their assorted abilities to get past the obstacles on the way to get the scroll, which he gets, and then leaves them to deal with the giant deadly monster that's going to kill them.
Yep.
And they weren't happy about that.
Which, as you can guess from what Jim's saying, later on, Maleficent's resurrected randomly.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. So the plot of this season is that Rumpelstiltskin wants to. Yeah. So we're gonna go a little sports over here. The plot of the season is Rumpelstiltskin wants to sever himself from his dagger so that he can take over the world and get his happy ending because he's tired of getting constantly screwed over.
Which he got the idea from Regina.
He did. He got the idea from Regina. Unfortunately, in the Storybook world, things don't totally go his way because Belle apparently finds out that he's been a lying asshole this whole time, despite saying he's changed.
They never get a divorce. I don't think they had a legally binding marriage, but I don't think they ever did anything about it afterwards.
No, but she basically uses his dagger, the real one that she got a hold of behind his back, and basically uses it to force him to walk over the border, to lose all his powers and never return, because
And
fuck you.
is it really legally binding?
I imagine Storybook, since they had, like, you know, someone reading, like, vows and shit, it would be legally binding.
Yeah, but they were married by Jiminy Cricket. Does he have any legal authority to marry people?
Hey, it takes 2 seconds online to freaking become a priest, so you know what? I bet they could do it.
Yeah, but he doesn't actually exist technically for our world. That's part of the thing with this. If sometimes it's like they only use magic, or they sometimes manipulate stuff to get our world rules, which means based on that, I would make the case it's not really legally binding. It's just magic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I would argue if anybody was going to conduct a wedding out there, it should have been Mother Superior. But that's neither here nor there.
I hate her.
I'd argue it should have been Regina. She's mad.
That's true. That would have also made sense. So, we find out the plot that Romosos gets thrown out of town. And basically we find out in the course of the backstory in Storybook, that I should say in the Enchant Forest, that a few things happen. Number one, we find out Charming and Snow White aren't so squeaky clean. At some point in the past, when they found out Snow was pregnant with Emma, they went to see the
wizard.
Yeah, the wizard. Basically, they went to see they were.
Was it the wizard or was it the author who set them on that story? I think it was the.
It was the author whom they thought was a peddler.
No, it was actually the three of the fucking bitches, witch people, approached her and says, "Hey, we know this tree of knowledge, and you want to protect the curse? Let's go fucking do it." And it didn't work, and because she's pregnant or whatever. That's how they found out about the tree.
That's right. That's right, because they needed a method to stop the curse, and Maleficent shows up and says, "Look, the curse is going to screw us as much as it screws you. Regina hates us too. So if we put our differences aside, let's stop the curse, and then we can go back to hating each other." And there's this tree that will give them the answers to everything if pure good touches it. But because Snow White is pregnant, the baby could be either.
Also, in the course of the season, we find out Regina was trained by Maleficent.
Indeed, we found out that Regina knew Maleficent, and Maleficent taught her the magic she wanted to know when she, and also helped to bring Maleficent out of a really depressed stupor she was in after her little issue with Sleeping Beauty didn't work out.
Yep.
So I have to step away for just a moment, but if you'd like to keep going, Mole, feel free. I'll be back in one moment. I do apologize.
Okay, but hurry up. But yeah, basically, with the season 4, is it? Yeah, season 4
and a half. This is like the second part.
Part 2. As we mentioned then, one of the people they get introduced to is the author. He's the guy that wrote the book. And long story short, with all this, the villains come into our world and they're trying to fuck things up, and the good guys stop them.
Yeah.
Boom. There's the whole half done.
Yeah, they wanted the author, and they just failed because in this in the world, which I actually wish how our world is, you get rewarded for being nice eventually. But it does happen. Life sucks less. How about that?
Tell that to Neil.
Except if you're Neil. Except if you're Neil, life sucks less if you're less of a dick. And.
But no, I was saying with this, it was the whole thing of. Like I said, that's how the series went. So I just wondered, what do you think of the new characters then that they introduced, Pew?
I liked but I don't know, something. I don't know. I feel weird about Ursula, and I might be just completely racist, but not that she's black or anything. But I just felt like the actor just took Ursula in a weird kind of Disney way. Like I kind of expected Ursula the Sea Witch. I kind of expected a very heavy woman, maybe elderly woman, if not, or at least really heavy makeup, or something like that. So I kind of felt like. Yeah, or something, or at least something along the lines of that. And they completely went another different direction. And she didn't feel like Ursula to me. She kind of just felt with a sea monster, generic I have octopus powers.
To be fair, what they did with Ursula is what they've done with some of the other ones. Is they mixed different stories in together. She was Ariel.
Wait, the Sea Witch was Ariel?
In a certain way, because think about it, she never really went against Ariel. The only time she did was when it was Regina pretending to be her, And Ursula is the one that went through the whole story of losing her voice and wanting to get it back and stuff like that. So that was kind of interesting, where they mixed Ariel and Ursula into this one thing and created the new Ursula. I thought it was kind of cool.
I guess. I just have such a passionate little hate for Ursula that I felt like this didn't quite match up with the hatred that I feel for Ursula. But I guess that's a good thing in a way, because I hate Ursula a whole lot, and I didn't hate her, so I don't know.
And I will say, loved Cruella.
Oh, Cruella's fucking awesome.
And if you want to see a poor Cruella, tune in when we review Descendants, also on Live the Phoenix.
Whenever he checks back into the library.
No, we will be reviewing it by that date, I believe. But
yeah,
it's a case of, yeah, that was really horrible. But yeah.
I have returned. My apologies. What did I miss?
Oh, well, basically we just shorthanded, recapped all of Season 4, the end half, and now we just talk about the characters they introduced and going that way.
Fair enough.
Yeah, like Ursula was saying around the differences between Ursula, like Disney Ursula, and then like different Ursulas and Ariel plus Ursula, and
Yeah, I made the case this was Ariel and Ursula fused.
also is Ursula and like Cruella, like, are they a lesbian couple?
No.
No.
Because like they always seemed like kind of like, oh, we're back together and we're like this. And I know they're really good friends and stuff.
Because they're friends, and it's like, yay, we got the group back together.
I know,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I just felt like, because Maleficent was like the leader, I felt like they were always like, special together. But like that's just me, apparently. Like just
Yeah,
misreading.
that is just you. Yeah. It's a case of, yeah. And Maleficent was brought back to life through magic, so we had that. We also had the...
She was pregnant and her baby died.
Yeah, I didn't really care for Maleficent this season. Also, we get introduced... One of the new characters is Emma's friend, who is Maleficent's daughter, who Snow White and Cinderella took all of her light and put it in Emma and put Emma's dark into her. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, it kind of makes them dicks.
Also doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah. And also, if you did that, how is it not till later when you murder Cora that you get darkness on your heart? You should have had a dark heart back then, honey.
Yeah, also...
You should have a dark heart for using the word honey.
Yeah, also, if that's happened, then Emma wouldn't have been able to do any of the stuff she's done that's been questionable in the past. Because let's not forget, Emma, she's not always goody-goody. She has had moments where she's done questionable or illegal and stuff like that.
She allowed the kidnapping of Pinocchio.
Yeah. But, you know what I mean? It's like, well, why would that have happened if she was actually really pure light? Or pure good, as they said the spell was going to do.
Too much good. It's just like, fuck all this good. There's too much of it.
Oh, it's like people always use when they want to justify liking a film with shit, when they say it's so bad it's good. She's so good, she's bad, I guess,
Well, I mean, maybe it overflows or whatever and doesn't quite work the way it's supposed to because you have too much in there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, some kind of computing error.
Well,
like, yeah.
But since you're back to you, Jim.
Well, since you shorthanded everything.
Well, I figured we might as well, because it's already been an hour and 45 minutes.
Fair enough. But yeah, so the plan was Rumpelstiltskin got thrown out of town and reunited with the villains, brought them back. They arrested Maleficent with some bullshit blood ritual. And they basically proceeded to attempt to take over the town to initiate Rumpelstiltskin's plan after they managed to free the author who was trapped in a page in the book. And they want to make him rewrite their stuff, but they need the ink for the magic quill to make it all work.
They want to rewrite history. DuckTales.
What if they use squid ink? You can write it, but then it's not magical because it makes magic not, but it itself is magic, so how does that work?
Why
That's a good question, I don't know.
I'm just saying, squid ink is ink, and it's also has the power to reduce magic, but it's also itself magic. So maybe I thought it would because that's the ink that's been established in the story.
Yes, but the book can also take away magic, as we saw, which is why they passed through the barrier. So maybe the pages would counteract the magic of the ink, removes magic, thus allowing it to be done.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because they've never used it in the book. It's completely hypothetical.
Yeah.
But yeah, we see the plan where the villains are going to use the author to re-give them their happy endings, and we find out the backstories of the respective villains. Cruella lived with her mother and was kept locked in an attic and basically had vicious dogs around her all the time, and she only wanted to be free, except no, you didn't want to be free. You murdered your father and your mother's subsequent husbands because you're a crazy fucking psycho.
But she's hot.
She is hot. No, she's incredibly hot. But that was I like the fact that a lot of these villains, they're all like I said that okay, Regina had her love murdered by her mother in front of her. That's why she's evil. Maleficent isn't exactly that evil. Ursula got screwed over by her dad. Isn't that evil? No, Cruella's just a fucking psycho. She's just fucking evil. No, we can't justify that shit. No, she's just evil.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. She's always the one Disney villain that you can't really justify. Like, why would you skin puppies to make a coat? There is no justification for that in any universe.
Yeah, it's completely wrong to kill animals to make shoes or coats or anything like that. Tell me again, Jim, how you don't know anything else with leather. It's called fashion, darling. I justified it.
I think she specifically mentioned she didn't want a coat at least of every animal, because she did say, "Oh, I never got your werewolf fur. I never got this fur." Like on other people who had like other animal, like forms or things.
Which means she's a collector and she's into fashion.
Yeah,
that's the justification.
Yeah, although one thing I will say that doesn't make any goddamn sense, but that I kind of liked. The
one thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, that was good. That was good. And it took me a second to get that reference. Anyway, so I like how they gave Cruella de Vil some magic. She can control animals basically with her voice or with her breath or whatever the hell it was. Except, if that was the case, why wouldn't you order all the Dalmatians to come to you so you could skin them and make a coat?
I thought she only could control animals based on her like cigarette smoking, she smokes a cigarette.
Oh, is that what it was? A cigarette?
I thought it was like her cigarette, and then she breathes it out, and then the animals get controlled.
To be fair, did she actually go through all the same stuff as 101 Dalmatians? Because I believe, wasn't she already wearing a coat made of those dogs because she got them to come over to her and kill her and killed them?
Yes.
After she made them eat her mother. This wasn't the same Cruella, Jim. They changed the story.
That's
made
true.
them eat her mother. Just those words.
Yeah, and then plus the fact that we've seen Pongo, Jiminy Cricket somehow fucking owns him, so that's not explained either.
Because it's a different dog.
His name is Pongo.
It's Pongo, but like I said, in this universe, she wasn't after the dog.
Right, it's a different Pongo, exactly.
No, I wasn't about it. It's still Pongo, but in their
a different version of Pongo.
No, it's still Pongo, but in their story, Cruella didn't go after Pongo and the dogs that were owned by that family. All she did was go after her mother's dog and make him eat her mother.
I made you eat your parents.
Basically, she's a complete sociopath. That's the difference.
Exactly. Which is why I like the villain. And she's hot. Most
villains. Sociopath? Call up a mole. 1-800 kill yourself.
Now, I've heard that in regards to this show, that's been an interesting thing that's been brought up on the show in the and I saw it brought up somewhere. I'm trying to remember what it was. It might have been in that special they did a couple weeks ago before season 5 started, where somebody made a comment of there seems to be a trend in this show among the women where basically the more evil you become, the higher your heels are, and the lower your blouse line is.
Which I would disagree with, because Maleficent wasn't that hot. Neither was Ursula.
Fair enough.
Neither was Cora.
No, neither was Cora. She was evil, though.
The only ones that was Ice Queen, Regina, arguably the Wicked Witch of the West, or whatever she was, which I liked her, and also Cruella, but there are a load that aren't.
Fair enough.
Also, I don't see Rumpelstiltskin in high heels.
That I said among the females.
Hey, I'm sure when he was dancing in that ring or something that we couldn't really see their feet because it only showed them from the upper half. I'm sure, like, if he had the shoes of the Beast since he's dressed in the same costume, it was probably some form of heel.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah, but anyway, as we see all this go down, I like the because Cruella was evil, and we see the backstories of
Yeah, we sort of those three, and we covered two.
Right.
And we covered Ursula slightly.
Right, yeah, Ursula, because of the whole situation where they kind of combined her with Ariel and cameo by Ernie Hudson. That was awesome.
Yep, you may know him from such films as Dragon Ball Evolution.
I didn't know
Not
he was
wrong.
in that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sadly he was. But
You may know him from such better films as Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2.
Such better films as Ghostbusters 2, or a better film than that, Ghostbusters.
Fair enough.
Ghostbusters 2 is a piece of crap compared to Ghostbusters 1 almost.
I know. Also the Ghostbusters video game. But yeah, I like how they show the backstory where it's just kind of, and I feel like maybe there were two Ursulas, because the Ursula we saw here, I feel like that wasn't the same Ursula that threatened Regina for impersonating her. I feel like that was legitimate sea goddess Ursula, and maybe this Ursula, who said that she named herself after the sea goddess, it made sense that she'd be,
Yeah,
whatever.
or they're the same person, because that'd be after she's gone and established her kingdom.
True. And I like how they did that. They got the Cruella backstory and the whole Maleficent thing of being sympathetic. I like how they worked that out a little bit. And so they get with the author to try to rewrite the happy endings, but they need the ink. They need to do the ink. They go through a whole big to-do where, they never really find out it's Rumpelstiltskin, big fighting each other, the usual kind of crap. Regina infiltrates the group by pretending to still be evil. They kidnap Pinocchio and turn him back into August to find out what he knows about the book.
But the group doesn't actually believe Regina.
No, not for a second. And they free the author, and inevitably they manage to, as Rumpelstiltskin is dying because his heart is turning to complete and utter coal. And I like his comment. I like his comment of, Belle's like, "But the Dark One can't die." No, but Rumpelstiltskin can. And believe me, you don't want to see the Dark One when there's no one else at home. That was a great line. But he's basically dying, and so as he's dying, the author rewrites existence into a new world known as Heroes and Villains, which creates an interesting parallel world for everybody except Henry, who is left alone in the abandoned Storybrooke. Inevitably, he doesn't know what's going on, so inevitably he leaves Storybrooke and hikes to a nearby rest stop where he's able to basically find out what's going on in regards to given that he wanted a happy ending in his world, the author wrote himself as the hugely successful, popular author of Heroes and Villains, and then he's rich and famous, and
Yeah, which I have sort of a plot hole with that.
Okay.
Okay, the reason we have the stories in our world is because apparently they actually happened. They mentioned that in season 1 when Emma's like, wait, they actually exist? I'm like, yeah, that's where all the stories come from. They all came from there. Fair enough. The author, or the wizard, whatever, created this new world, completely erased the old one and made it so everyone's now a hero and villain. Yet, the people in our world said to him it was great the way he'd interpreted those old classic fairy tales and put a new twist on it to make the villains the good guys. And it's like, but they would know the old stories because the old ones have been erased.
But they weren't.
They're only raised from people caring.
Remember, after this little curse is broken, because Henry tracks down the author and steals the original book and magics himself into it, and basically observes the world. He sees, Rumpelstiltskin is the light one and the ogre slayer and a big hero and saves people, and we find out that Regina is the bandit who's hiding in the woods, and Snow White is the evil queen because Regina caused her true love, the Prince James, to be killed, so she took her love's twin brother and took his heart and uses him as a heart slave, and the dwarves of the Black Garden and shit. It's kind of awesome. And basically he ends up managing to, he has to convince Regina that, you got to be with Robin Hood. If you get with him, that'll be a happy ending, and that'll break everything. And, but he's engaged to Zelina, because of course he is.
But that was my point, Jim. It raised the old ones temporarily because of how the magic worked, in that stuff never happened temporarily at this point, because what had happened is these stories instead. Therefore, in our world, we wouldn't know the old stories.
I'm getting there.
Okay, I'm going to get there. It's just awkward silence.
Sorry, I'm chewing. Anyway, you have to remember, after Henry...
Also, wasn't it Wayne Brady? Or at least it looked like Wayne Brady. Was the Ursula's dad?
No, that was Ernie Hudson.
Okay, I'm sorry, I got them confused. They have similar faces.
He played Winston Zedmore in Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Okay.
Wayne Brady's not nearly cool enough to be Ernie Hudson.
Okay, sorry. I thought it was Wayne Brady.
No.
And like I said, long awkward gaps for chewing and all the phone calls. We are lucky to have you, John.
I know, very lucky. So, remember what happens. Henry manages to, of course, somewhat stop the wedding. Regina sacrifices herself to save him, and he manages to use a little bit of her blood because this is a reverse world, so her blood works for the ink instead of Emma's blood. And he, being that it's revealed that the pen works for him, and Henry's the next author, he proceeds to write that Regina's sacrifice breaks the curse, and it does, and everything is restored. After this happens, we see Henry sitting looking at the two books, and the apprentice is with him, and explains the whole what's going on, being the author. And he looks at the, and he says, Henry says, "What about that world?" And the apprentice opens the Heroes and Villains book to reveal that it's empty. He says that world has been erased. It is no more, because that world was not meant to exist. But this book, and he has the Once Upon a Time book, and that says something. He says, but this book can never be erased, for these events are what truly happened. The apprentice himself actually said that. I don't think it was that those stories didn't exist in our world. I don't think he put them into, he didn't rewrite reality. He wrote a new reality that was only a reality to them, and it basically got put into a book into what was a new enchanted forest, not the one they had been at, as I understood it.
See, I understood it as that the two books couldn't basically be active at once, so when one's active, the other one's not. Because if they're both active, and based on how Rumpelstiltskin's powers work, he would still be the Dark One. Because he's normally immune to all stuff like this.
Hmm. Well,
it just seemed like we're a little weird.
Yeah, my understanding was that because Henry had to physically go into the Heroes and Villains book in order to help them, he didn't go through a portal to their world. He went physically into the book. They were not, he didn't rewrite. And the other fact that supports that is Storybrooke still exists. If that was all wiped out, why was Storybrooke still there with Henry in it? Unless everything that happened still happened. The Once Upon a Time book still existed. Everything in that book still happened up to the point at which he stopped writing it. However, he then wrote this new book, Heroes and Villains, and because he used those characters, they were sucked into that world. It's like a parallel world that's also has an enchanted forest and everything else, and they were sucked into that world where their memories and the reality around them was changed within that pocket dimension, but everything else still happened. As far as the real world is concerned, that's why Storybrooke is there, why Henry remembers, why the other guy remembers, and why the world knows what these fairy tales originally were, because that all still happened. It's just he changed. He basically put them in a new world where, as far as they knew, it happened differently. He didn't change the actual events.
See,
because he thought he was going to change the actual events. But what he didn't know, as the Sorcerer's Apprentice told us, is that those events cannot be changed. They cannot be rewritten. Only alternate events can be written in a parallel thing. He cannot change the actual events of the world.
Which, yeah, like I said, I got the impression it was the other way of the two counteracted each other. Only because while the wizard said, the stuff in this one can't be erased and stuff like that, we've seen some get erased.
Like what?
Like in some of the previous seasons, how basically Pinocchio added stuff in there and inserted it into part of it, which counteracted other parts, which then suddenly made that part now considered what actually happened and changed some of the parts of the world, and like parts of the other people who've got the book have done similar stuff.
He didn't change the book. He unsewed it and he sewed new pages that he had written into the book. That didn't make those events. He added the story of Pinocchio and whatnot, but that didn't necessarily make anything change. It just added in those pages for Henry to read. They didn't necessarily have an effect on the overall story because they weren't written by the author. Pew, what do you think about this?
I think Pew thinks you need to stop leaving long pauses of nothing but quiet.
Yes. He read my mind. How did you do that? Was it written in the storybook?
It was.
He's the dark one.
Speaking of new dark ones.
Eh.
Yeah.
But I will say that is something I did like about this series.
Mm-hmm.
This season, they gave Henry a purpose.
They did.
I felt Henry hasn't had a purpose for like 2 years.
Not really.
First one he had a purpose. Second one he was forced into the story. Same with the third. This one I felt like, okay, now he's the author going forward from 5 onwards. He actually has a purpose. He's going to be a really important and cool character.
I wouldn't say that.
Great, thanks for those spoilers.
Not a spoiler. I'm making the point that I don't think he could be because if you think about this, Henry broke the magic pen. Henry said no one should have that much power. Therefore, as what would have been the current author, Henry decided by breaking the pen that there should no longer be an author because nobody should have that much power over reality. Let reality happen as it is intended to happen. It doesn't necessarily have to be recorded or manipulated. Just let reality happen. There doesn't need to be an author behind everything. And that's why he did that.
Yeah, but they still called him the author, and therefore I'd make the case it's once upon a time. They can always retcon that shit.
Yeah,
they can, but as of right now, it seems like Henry's point was, yes, I can be the author, but I don't want to be the author because it's too much power and nobody should have it. So I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to break the thing and put it down, and nobody's going to have that. You're going to have that level of power.
Didn't it get repaired?
Not that I know of.
I thought after he did it, it got repaired.
No, and we never see it again after he breaks it.
Either way, the point is that, like, you repaired or not, like, it could still be, like, hey, like, you know, like, the dark one was gone for, like, 2 fucking seconds and came back. They could fucking retcon that shit and they can come right back. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying they couldn't retcon it. I'm saying as it stands right now, I don't think he's the author, and I don't think he has powers right now. That's what I'm saying.
So we need to hurry this up because my headset's dying.
Okay. Fair enough. Number 1, plug it in. Number 2...
Yeah, you can.
But it's awkward to plug it in and talk from it at the same time.
How?
It's not a long cable.
No, it's not. But if you're on a computer or a laptop, you should get close to it.
You just sit right there by the computer.
Oh, but I don't plug it into the computer. I plug it into wall outlets.
You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to plug it into the computer.
Oh, I don't plug it into the computer. I don't have a thing to plug it in the computer. I just have a...
It came with a thing to plug it into the computer.
I lost that. I only use my Kindle charger now.
Yes, but can't you pull the physical prong end off of that to reveal the USB? Most cords are necessarily like that now.
I have a Kindle charger that doesn't have a USB. It's just literally one that plugs into the wall.
Fine. Let's wrap this up. So at the end of the season, we find out the darkness. Since everybody is back, the darkness is engulfing Rumpelstiltskin's heart and killing him. And the apprentice performs an incantation to preserve Rumpelstiltskin's life by removing the darkness from him, leaving him.
I would make the case, TP, if your headset dies, can you just change what you're actually on Skype?
Yeah, I guess I could do that.
Yeah. Well, we're going to wrap this up. So, Rumpelstiltskin gets the darkness removed, and he's left with a white heart, which is basically, just because it's a normal heart, it's red, so he's basically just an empty vessel right now. And it's left there in the shop. And the darkness flies free and whips around like this weird, darkness. And it knocks the apprentice aside.
Darkness.
I don't know. It's this amorphous. Like when it first came out, I'm like, is the darkness the phantom blob? But no, it's not. But the darkness came out and it knocks the apprentice away and it knocks people around and then it flies out the door. And so they chase it down the street, carrying the dagger, which is now nameless because there's not currently a dark one. And the apprentice explains to them before they run out that the darkness was chained to a soul because a soul can be controlled. The sorcerer did that so the darkness could be controlled and would be handled. Unfortunately, now it's free, and who knows what it's going to do now. And so they run out after the darkness with the blank dagger in hand to try to track it down in the center of town, only for it to attack Regina and start sucking her in. So in an attempt to save her, Emma, makes the promise to save her and sacrifices herself, ramming the dagger into the darkness as it, floated itself into her, turning her into the Dark One and dissipating her to who knows where, as the dagger falls on the ground and lands with the name Emma Swan written on it. End season. So what do you think of the forthcoming concept of a Dark Emma? Any thoughts going forward?
I still think they're gonna probably do something stupid, like eventually Hook will break her curse with True Love's kiss, like they tried to do with Rumpelstiltskin. Probably not straight away, but eventually.
Well, it didn't work for Rumpelstiltskin. He kissed Belle a lot of times. He was still the Dark One.
Well, that's
Did you miss the part where he kissed her and it started to break, so he quickly pushed her away because it would have worked, and then they just need to retcon it later on.
Yeah, they did.
Because like Regina even said in that episode, yep, all magic can be broken with True Love's kiss.
Mm.
And Kellyan's pretty hot.
Fair enough. Yeah, so that is season 4. Overall thoughts of season 4. Final thoughts.
I like the first half. Second half was interesting.
Can one person give their thoughts at a time, please?
Okay, good. Well, you first.
Nothing. All I said was I didn't like the fact Emma's gonna probably steal Rumpelstiltskin's story because they keep doing that with him.
Mm-hmm.
There was some stuff I didn't like, but overall I liked the Frozen bit. That was awesome, and I liked the villains bit too. That was still really fun, and it gave us a load of new characters. Although it didn't do Rumpelstiltskin's character development more, but it was still pretty fun. I liked the idea of like Ariel was Ursula in a certain way, or Ursula was Ariel, I should say.
Yep.
I liked what they did with Cruella, how she got the black and white hair. It was overall it was pretty fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I really liked it. I liked the Frozen bit better than I liked the villains, just because I felt like, I don't know, it feels weird, but there's so much like fourth wall breaking, you know, with the storybook and like the whole thing, and I felt like it just like plot device.
That's not fourth wall breaking, Pew.
I know, but it feels like it sort of.
No, it's only fourth wall breaking if they look directly into the camera, sort of thing, and they tell us, the audience, something we're not supposed to know, or act in a way that's completely out of character for the person looking like that. It's almost like where the fourth wall would be on a set.
Yep.
Okay, so I just feel weird that, like, it feels weird to me, like, with the whole author, and they're trying to change their story, and while it is really interesting, it also feels kind of weird, because it feels like that shouldn't exist, but, because I liked the book better when it was less explained, but,
fair enough. Yeah, they turned the book into one big plot device. I
get that, and like the whole story with the author is like super interesting and stuff. It just feels weird that now it's like all explained or whatever. But I did like the whole villains like backstory and stuff.
I didn't like that the author was some random crappy car salesman from the 50s. I was hoping he'd be somebody like important.
Yeah, but like they said, there's been many authors. But yeah,
also have a more impressive beard.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a case of the author and stuff like that. Like I said, it made sense as well because it's from series like 1 or 2. They've mentioned the book has magical properties. It's clearly magical. There's clearly more there to explore. So it makes sense to see.
Henry was like kind of trying to Da Vinci Code it.
Yeah,
which means, like I said, there must have been something there, which means it makes sense to explain it.
Yeah, but now that it's explained, it's like, I don't know. Now that it's already been explained, it's like less special or something or whatever. I mean.
Indeed. Fair enough.
It's alright.
Yeah. Overall, I enjoyed the season. I thought the Frozen parts were very well acted. It was very well written and very good. It did feel like all the Frozen stuff came out of nowhere, but that's been most of the stuff in the show, so fair enough. I thought the villains at the end, that was also very good. The manipulative plan of Rumpelstiltskin, again, despite destroying his character development, it was very good the way they worked it out, so that was kind of cool. Overall, just really enjoyable. A lot of great acting, great characters. You know, just a fun season. Much better than the previous season. With the other stuff was okay, but been that Peter Pan crap for quite a long shot. So great season overall, and I'm looking forward to where we're going forthcoming with this whole Dark Emma saga.
Did we reveal yet that Maid Marian was the Zelina?
Were we supposed to have done that already?
That was in season 4.
Oh. We missed that. Fair enough. You said you went to the end of the season 4. I didn't even think about it.
No, I just went through the basics. I wasn't going through all the character trees like you were, because it took like an hour and a half to get through the first half.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's another interesting point, is that it was revealed Rumpelstiltskin, over the court, being manipulated by Yes, basically tells Rumpelstiltskin was in New York, and Zelina basically came to him, and it was basically he had what they thought was a heart attack, and the real robot was actually his heart turning to coal, because that's when he started dying, and that's when he came up with his plan, like, I gotta get back to the magic. And because they made an agreement that he would help her, evil plan or whatever. So he reveals to Regina that the Marion that came back that has been with Robin is actually Zelina in disguise, using a magic piece of plant from Oz that she has with her. And that she inserted herself in the past to replace Marion, simply to come back to steal Regina's love in order to make her life miserable. And so Regina sets off on a journey to go find them, and they encounter Zelina, and they get to New York, and they find her, Regina and some of the others, and she reveals to Robin that, yeah, I am Zelina, but then Robin reveals that, oh my God, she's pregnant.
Yep.
Dun dun dun. And so basically they can't just destroy her now because she's carrying Robin's baby, and obviously he cares about his baby, so they bring her back to Storybrooke, and they lock her down in the asylum to keep her safe.
Yep. I wonder if that'll come back to haunt him.
Who knows? But yeah. So yeah, a lot of great stuff going on over the course of.
So are they gonna do what they did in Raising Hope? Oh, you have the baby, electric chair right afterwards.
Who knows? Who knows? We shall find out. But that'll be more discussion in season 5. We can talk about season 5 in the future. I don't know if you guys want to wait until the whole season is over and do the whole thing in one shot again,
Yes.
or do like a few times throughout the course of the season.
The first one.
What do you think, Mo?
I'd make the case, depending on when Pew can watch it. And obviously depending on when it links up here, we could always do it mid-season break if it turns out to be like for the previous 2 years, where they've always been 2 shorter seasons.
That's true. That'd be a good idea if we did the first half then the second half. I could see that. I can see that.
Pew?
That's really what you said, Mole, because my headphone just died and I just switched to the one on the computer.
What Mole said was, what if we did 2 videos? Because given that each season is basically like 2 mini seasons in and of itself anyway, because they always change the villain and the plot in the middle. What if we did like when they get to the end of the first half? If you watch it by then, and assuming Mole has it synced up on Netflix by then, we review the first half, and then at the end we can go back and review the second half.
Sounds good with me.
All right then. So we will do that.
Like I said, that was just my suggestion. It's up to you. You may have wanted to go back and do the whole season as one whole season again.
No, I was hoping to actually do it, something sooner rather than waiting to the whole, end of the whole season. So that works for me. So yeah, we'll see you in a few months' time, folks, and we'll take a look at the first half of season 5, and we'll see how the Dark Emma saga played out. Thank you two for joining me. I apologize for this being so long.
Pleasure. Like a pleasure or whatever.
Thank you. Yeah, so this has been Larry the Phoenix taking a look at Once Upon a Time Season 4. As I mentioned, available on Netflix. Available on Netflix in most places. Available on DVD, Blu-ray. Check it out. Great show. And we'll see you for a look at the first half of Season 5. Good night, everybody.
Laters. Alligators.